And what an absolute glorious day it is here in Sydney. The sun is shining down over Narellan, and I guess it's shining down all over New South Wales, the state that's untouchable, the best state in Australia, New South Wales, except for when it comes to state of origin. This morning, joining me, I've got Rino Amituanai, and we are going to discuss some things that are happening in the world right now. There are a lot of contentious issues in society, and we need to maybe try and iron it out. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Rino Amituanai joining me in the studio this morning. He's here with his beautiful partner, Tracy. She's not going to sit in on this one.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you back. Also good to have you back. What's been happening, mate? What's been happening up there at Oatley? And I see that you come off night shift on Sunday, and now you've got a few days off, 7 days or something.
Yeah, 7 days off, yeah. I think that's the beauty of like working shift work, right? You do work long hours and your rotations might seem long, but you do get a bit of a lifestyle, 6-7 days off, that sort of thing. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah,
always important to get a break from work and really take some care of yourself and whatever else is going on in life. Look, there's been some developments in the US last week with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the activist. I will say now, I was really disappointed, and actually, how I found out about Charlie Kirk's assassination is that I'm in a group chat, and a friend of mine posted up a video of Charlie's assassination with laughing emojis on it, and saying, because apparently he said gun, and I think that was his last word, and then someone assassinated him.
Really?
That was and I couldn't see the humour in that, because I take offence to it. I mean, Charlie Kirk was a father.
Yeah.
He was a husband. Yeah. And free speech, we've got to have free speech.
Absolutely.
And so I left the chat because I actually wrote on the chat, bro, this is why you need God in your life.
Yeah.
FFS,
Yeah, totally.
This guy's been murdered and you're laughing about it. Anyway, I left the chat and he rang me. He said, I think you've taken it out of context. I said, bro, I just don't see the humour in it. But anyway, look, let's talk about what Charlie Kirk's been doing over there, with this, Turning Point USA and the masses that he's got following him, his followers.
Yeah.
I think the left must be horrified or scared of someone like him and the message that he's bringing out to the young over there, because he's giving them a message of hope.
Yeah, like, I think with him, what was so good about him is he just wanted to have a conversation, right? He opened up dialogue, discourse with people that held different views, different opinions, right? And there was like, as far as I couldn't see any hate in what he was saying, right? But he was just pointing out what he thinks and what he believes. And if you want a rebuttal, obviously he gave you that chance, that platform to speak against him, right?
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know, he sort of championed free speech, which we should all hold dear to us. If you can't speak your mind without getting punched in the head or gunned down, or like something is seriously wrong with society, like honestly.
That's just absolutely crazy. I mean, the fact that you can't, I look at Jordan Peterson, similar sort of, probably not as strong on the, the God and the Christian thing, but I always thought that some lefties might take him out too,
Really? Well, at this point in time, everything that's happened, and it seems to be that a lot of the violence, if not the only violence that's coming out between the two factions of left and right, is coming from the left. So it wouldn't be too far removed to believe that they're capable of more violence, right, or radical acts. How they became radicalised, I'm not sure.
What do you think that is? It seems to me like there's been a spate of, so a lot of the shooters that they're saying they were transgender shooters. What is it? Why do they need to resort to the violence? Why the violence? We can have a difference of opinion, right?
Absolutely.
We can have a difference of opinion,
but
to think that you should take someone's life because you don't agree, they don't fit with your narrative?
Yeah.
What is that even? What is that?
Dude, that's just so wild that you can't sit there across the table from someone and just have a healthy discussion, whether you agree with the person or not, but allow them to speak and maybe even try to understand their side and where they're coming from, right? It's like you got people like, let's say, sovereign citizens. They got a, that community is like, I don't know much about them, but obviously you get these little groups that pop up here and there. And so what is it? Is it because they feel like their voices aren't being heard or some injustice has been done towards their way of thinking? Are they revolutionaries or reactionaries, right? Are they trying to restore what was lost, or they're trying to renew or eradicate the status quo and begin again? I'm not too sure on all of these things, right? All I know is like people are hurting because they feel that their voice is not being heard by their representatives, maybe. I don't know. Right? Obviously, within these groups, you've got individual thought as well. But they come together with some common ground that someone said, oh, this is our doctrine, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Right? But there's still people in there, like, even Hitler had his people that were so against him, whether they spoke up or not, right? So it wasn't that everyone in Germany at the time of the 1930s up to the 40s were just like pro-Hitler, everything's Hitler. There was a lot of people against them and plotted his death and assassination as well. But what I think is you can start a movement, right? But then it's sort of, there's no mechanisms to stop extremists from infiltrating that and using that as a platform, right? And then what they do is like, well, you're not sovereign citizen enough, we'll get rid of you. You got to be this certain way, you got to be this level. It's like the French Revolution, right? They go, well, here's the revolutionaries, but then people come, you're not radical enough, so kill them off. Right? Or you're too radical, kill them off. So it's, to me, in my mind, and I think very simply, I just think it's an absolute mess. Like, where are we going here? What's going on?
What is it?
Who's in charge? Who's got the reins?
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. What I noticed with these sovereign citizens, and look, I've got friends that are sovereign citizens.
Right.
He's a sovereign citizen. Also, very much down the rabbit hole, I think, in terms of conspiracy.
Right.
And it's heavy. It gets so heavy. Like I'm like, how do these people live normal lives?
Yeah.
Where they're taking all these things on that they believe to be conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
He talks about government controlling us.
Right.
Like, and using confusion in the masses to execute tyranny on us.
Yeah. Well, let me just interject and play devil's advocate here, right?
Yep.
It's like, how would you put it? Man, I forgot what I was going to say. There was something so important, I just went blank, and there's something to do with the sovereign citizens, right? And I was like, well, people can seem crazy at that time.
Yep.
Until time elapses, years go by, and they were absolutely right about certain things.
Yep.
Right? Perhaps not everything, but they were on to something. And I think the same thing happened with, Alex Jones, right? So he's a larger-than-life character, conspiracy theorist, I think, from his own proclamation. But he said some really wild things, but it was like the world wasn't ready for it, or they didn't want to believe, right?
Yep.
Until people started investigating, doing a bit of research, and finding out that this guy, there was some element of truth or dimension thereof in what he was saying.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, yeah, when people come out that seem crazy, they might be sort of labelled as geniuses in 30, 40 years' time. And I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not advocating for any of these groups.
No, I totally understand that.
But I'm just trying to understand where these people come from. So these little groups that pop up and think they've been done wrong or something's going on in the country. But that's not to say that they are wrong about the corruption in government, right? That's always been the case. There's always been corruption, but to what level, to what extent? And what we're seeing today is just all-out corruption, basically, with certain parties and whatever, right? And then you've got the news that pander towards certain parties. You've got the right-leaning news, and then you've got the left-leaning media as well. So who do you trust? What is the truth? I
think like I said before, we have to take this information with a grain of salt and really vet. You've really got to look at it and try and think laterally about the news again. So, like for an example, when there's coverage of the Middle East, I watch Fox, then I watch Al Jazeera.
Right. So one's left, one's right leaning?
Completely different. Completely different.
Really?
Same issue.
Yeah.
Completely different reporting, you know. Wow. The blame. So Fox are blaming,
Yes.
you know, Palestinians, Hamas.
Right.
Whereas Al Jazeera is blaming Israel, US, you know, for not,
Okay.
you know, for what's going on there, you know, not. So you've got two different views. So Al Jazeera has been barred by the Israeli government from.
Well, that would be the case,
reporting,
right?
You know what I mean? Because
they're antagonist.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a very similar thing. My question is to the people that are real conspiracy theorists and sovereign citizens. I can't handle it. I mean, you know, most people just want to bury their heads in the sand, look after their families, go to work, pay the house off, and yet you got these guys that have got this energy. I don't know where they get the energy. Why would you want to go down there and they're like? I've had some friends that were conspiracy. I had to block them because they were coming up with this stuff, and I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't.
Right.
I just couldn't. Where do you get time to be going looking for the Jeffrey, Epstein list?
Right. Yeah.
The COVID vaccine, and they just keep posting. So I've had a few friends on Facebook that I've just axed because that's just. When I look back at the history of their page, it was just the same.
Right. Same narrative, if anything.
Conspiracy coming through, and I'm like, bro. How does all of this actually affect you personally in your life, in your neighbourhood, in Australia?
Yeah,
like,
I get
you know
what
what I mean?
you're
Like,
saying.
if something's happening overseas, how does that actually impact you? How is that going to change your life? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of questions, right? There's more questions than answers, if anything. And sometimes when someone tries to explicate something, there's even more questions. And you look at the explanation and you ponder on it, contemplate it, and just think, well, you've just created more questions for me. There's no definitive answer for certain things, right? And that's why I don't know where society's heading. I really don't. I won't say it's a scary time because, like you said, I'm just in my little part of the farm, just scratching like a little chicken, just doing my own thing, unbeknownst to me what's happening around the wider world or the greater world. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I go to work, right, pay my bills, pay my taxes, and I enjoy life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said initially, and I'll reiterate, it's like people feel like they're hard done by, maybe, or they feel like they can see with what's happening in the world that we're going down the shitter, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? And they want to get back like what they had. Because I can honestly say, like coming to Australia, I think in 1983, 1984, but see, that was from a lens of a child. Everything was just great, right? It was just brilliant. I loved life, enjoyed life, had every opportunity to make something of myself. I did sports and, cricket, squash, basketball, whatever I wanted. It was just great. Had great friends. Dude, I didn't hear the word racism until later on in life. It just wasn't there. And I was like in the community, it was like of whites, right? And there was no problem.
Yep.
I was like from Lane Cove to Ryde to Gladesville to Balmain, all these poor areas, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So I just, I didn't even know what racism was. We had Greeks, we had Poles, we had Croats, Serbians, Samoans, and
so it's a very diverse community. When I was coming from New Zealand, because I was at De La Salle College in Mangere,
right,
I had a social studies teacher there, Mr. Martin, and he's from Australia. He said to me, "Good luck in your new country, Albert." He said, "You're going to come across some racial barriers in Australia."
Right.
And so
which is very profound. Profound statement, right?
And then looking back at it now, so I did have a lot of racial
prejudices,
but we were coming off the back of the White Australia policy that was, in the early 1900s until the Gough Whitlam government dismantled it in the 70s.
Yeah.
So those undertones, I guess. But I guess it's how you see the world, man. Like, have we prospered in this country? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
If the country was that bad and that racist, we wouldn't be here,
Absolutely.
So we've come here, mate, we've taken up manner, and we've done well.
Yes. Well, let me ask you a question. When you came to this country and your interactions and engagement with white people, what was it? Were they racist? Or some people, I think, might misconstrue that as racism, but it's actually been just pro-Australian. So what was your experiences with white people?
You've always got that minority that are racist, and they come out.
I agree.
Right, but you're talking, less than 1%, like,
Yeah.
So my general experience was,
Yeah.
I was a kid growing up, and then we're down at Brighton Sands, right, Brighton Beach.
Yeah,
because I was at Maris Brothers Cogra,
Yes, that's right.
and I did swimming for a sport, and so we're down there, and so they got this thing called the Wogs and the Aussies, right?
All the skips. Yeah.
And then they were divvying up the team, so the Italians and the Greeks and all that from the school went on this side. It's just a group of us boys, there's about
Right.
30, 40 of us playing touch footy on the sand.
Right.
And then they came down to me because they didn't know which they're going to put.
Yeah.
And the white Aussies were saying to me, "Oh, Anzacs, come over here."
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Come
I was
over.
just about to say.
And the Greeks were going, "No, you're a black wog. Come over
you're
here."
a wog. Yeah. See, I had the same experience at school, right? So it was like, oh no, you're from New Zealand. You're just across the Tasman. You're our cousins.
Yeah.
So you're on our side with
that's right.
soccer,
Yeah.
cricket,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But then they go, no, but you're a foreigner. You're a wog. So
Yeah.
there was that thing going around, right? But what I loved back in the day, you could tease everyone's ethnicity, right, and just have a good old belly laugh about their culture and everything else. We just laughed it off. It was so good. No one got offended.
This culture of political correctness permeates through society.
100%.
You've got to be politically correct in the workplace. People get towed up over that. So you've got to be careful. And, if you watch some of the shows from the 70s and 80s and some of the stuff, even the sexes... Some of the stuff they say, even some of the ads, where they...
Wow, yeah.
We watch some of those ads and go, holy man, how did they...
I still think they're funny,
but
I'm just thinking about today and I'm like, that would not be accepted today.
Absolutely.
But they're funny as hell. Yeah. The other day I went back looking at the old Victorian Bitter commercials. Maybe I felt emasculated. I just want my manhood back for that day. I don't know. And I just laughed.
You can get it when you're working.
Like, absolutely,
and the tune and the...
and there's no PC culture in that, right? It was just, you're a man's man.
You're a man.
This is what you do. You drink, work hard, you fight, whatever, right?
Bring back the biff.
Yeah.
Bring back the biff.
And then you get males today doing their eyebrows and all this crazy stuff. Like back in our day, like, bro, what do you think would happen to that kid in the scrum out in the field?
Someone's going to uppercut him in the...
Well,
Yeah, very different, eh? So I've got to be careful. So I frequent Marrickville in Newtown there, and there's jazz bars, jazz clubs up there. I go to watch bands, and I go up there, and there's this guy. His name's Ash, right? 6'4", big, solid white dude.
Big guy.
Yeah. So I go up there the first night. Hey, how you going, Ash? And I'm buying Coronas and stuff. And then the second time I go back there, I swear it's Ash, but this time he's wearing a dress and he's got,
Really?
He's dolled up like a woman. And
Jeez.
so I don't...
Jeez.
You don't know what to say, and his fingernails are polished. I don't know what to offend this because I know I've seen him as a man. And then he's dressed up as a woman the next time I'm up there. And it's just really funny because every time I go there, he'd either be one or the other.
Yes.
Dressed up as trans or he's,
But like I say, like, look, do what you want to do. You have the freedom to choose, right?
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. But just don't impose it on me.
Don't bring it out.
And I'm the same, right? I have my certain beliefs. I'm not going to push it on you. Right? Unless you ask or you're genuinely interested, you have some questions about my faith or what I do in life, my way of life. Yeah. And then we can discuss it, right? But what they do, I think, this is where I think we'll just go back to Charlie Kirk, where they sort of like had disdain and rancor towards him, right? They were pushing this agenda in America on the little ones, right?
That's just what I was going to say, in the schools.
Absolutely.
In the schools.
Right? And sometimes probably without the parents' consent, because when they had parent-teacher night or some board meeting, all the parents were fired up. Why are you teaching my kid this and that? Right? So he came to the campuses where it's like a cesspool of indoctrination, right? And he made them think, and he even converted a lot of them to not think like a trans person or don't do this, don't do that. And I think they were scared because the kids were starting to listen to him. They were starting to turn the tide away. Right, from this woke agenda that's been pushed upon.
Turning Point USA.
Yes, Turning Point USA. Yeah. Right, gold.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what it is. So everyone is vying for the affections and, let's say, the commitment and devotion of our children. Whether it's the government and us parents are fighting against the government's agenda, right, to keep our children safe, right, where they're trying to ruin them. And it's almost like It's not Orwellian. It's like, what's that guy's name? Aldous Huxley, the writer of The Brave New World, right? And they were just churning these kids out. They're all the same, looked the same, thought the same. They couldn't think outside of what they had or what was given to them or forced upon them.
Yep.
And then one guy, I think at the end, he just said, no, I'm going to break out of the sphere of influence and do my own thing, think for myself.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think Charlie Kirk, in a manner of speaking, he was saving these kids from what was going on, right? These kids at college, they get indoctrinated, or that's what they say,
Yep.
right? So he was saving them from this this detrimental lifestyle, right? This falsehood, this delusion, if you will. And I think that's why they thought he was dangerous.
What gets me is, at what point did the governments actually think that they could teach our kids without our permission as parents?
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know this was happening in schools here in Sydney.
Yeah. Really?
Well, I didn't know, but my daughter and I are driving behind this car one day.
Right.
And it was a four-wheel drive and it had big pink aerials on it. And I said, that girl must have a nice, she must really like that four-wheel drive. And she said, how do you know it's a girl, Dad? I said, well, it's got pink aerials, the big...
Yeah.
And she said, well, it could be a boy. You don't have to, And I said, where are you learning this? She goes, well, that's what they teach us at school. You don't... and I'm just thinking, hey, listen, I send you to school to learn... Maths,
English, science.
Science.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Because
they're indoctrinating
our kids.
That's
and what
I'm
gives
saying.
them the right to do that?
Yeah.
And so this...
Yeah.
You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah.
I just didn't know about it, until it comes evident. So, they're indoctrinating our kids with this gender ideology stuff. What else is there? I guess the Aboriginal stuff, which we know about the kids, recognising First Nations people.
Yes.
But the gender stuff for me is just I can't see the value in it, or that the government should have the authority to even talk to our kids about those sort of things.
But you know what gets me as well, Albert, is like they go around like desecrating or destroying statues, artwork, whatever it is, right, and saying, it's colonisation, whatever, we're going to get rid of this. Dude, you can't change history. If it was a bad history, it shows you how far we've come from that.
Yep.
Let it stand. History is history, and we learn from that.
Yep.
And there's a saying: when people don't know their history, they're doomed to repeat it.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So it's good to know the good parts and the bad parts.
Yep.
But let's not go out there and just make up stories and give inaccuracies to children. Right.
Yep.
That the whites were tyrants, they were despots, they were this, that, and the other.
Yep.
Like I said before, and I totally stand by this. It's best to have the British than having the Spanish or the French or the Belgians or anyone else. They were the fairest from the lot. Yeah. And they actually ended slavery, I think, in the 1830s.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
They had a place called Freetown, I think, in West Africa, where they sort of delivered them. They sunk so many ships that were trading in this industry. Yeah. So it's just like, bro, okay, look at the history. Don't just start making shit up, right, and giving it to the kids.
Yep.
And it's almost come to the point where it is Orwellian, where they're going to start saying, well, if your parents do this, dob them into the cops.
Yeah.
It might get to that. I don't know. I don't really delve into this stuff. I know things on the surface. Like I said, I'm a very simple man and I'll keep it that way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, these are opinions, right? I'm not out here trying to convince someone to jump on my side. Yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we do have Rino Amituanai in the studio with me this morning, and we've just gone over some hugely controversial issues. And I'll tell you what, he's got a great outlook. I really appreciate all of that. Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much. Let's talk about my friend AI. She goes by the name Ara, and she's from the.
You named her Ara?
She actually named herself. I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Ara." A-R-A, Ara. And she's a product of the Elon Musk think tank. So right now in society, we've got this AI that's out there.
Right.
And it's taken over the world.
Yeah.
And at a scary rate.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of podcasts. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about what's going on with the AI. And there's experts out there that are saying the AI technology now, the rise of quantum computing, right? The quantum computer, it's got so much power. The quantum computer, like if you got all the supercomputers of the world together, and you gave it an equation, something to work out, what would take all the computer power of the world, 20,000 years to work out an equation. The quantum computer can do it in under half a minute.
What?
The qubit, like it's just crazy, the amount of power. So if you get the quantum computer with AI, it's quite likely that we're going to have the self-awareness. I won't call it consciousness, but it becomes self-aware.
So you're saying that everything's going to be linked up to this thing?
Everything, it looks like everything's going to be linked to this computer, right? They're building quantum computers now, right?
Right.
But the problem they're having is that they're very unstable. You know, they've got to operate in like the perfect environment for all the...
So they're going through, basically, they've made this entity and it's going through like testing phases, or they've already tested it?
They're testing, it's continually upgrading itself.
Wow.
And with the AI, so like when I was showing Tracy before the AI, and we actually, the conversation we had, the depth of knowledge that thing had.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
Wow.
You know, you could ask it about, you know, I told her that I was going to build a nuclear reactor in my backyard, and where can I get enriched uranium?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you a question? Okay, in your mind, how does this benefit society or the human race, and what's bad about it? Can you give us like...
Look, how does it benefit us? The pros and cons. So I think the pros are, it's a very convenient, it's almost instant gratification, because we get answers for complex problems
Right.
almost instantaneously. Right.
Okay.
On the personal side, there's people out there that are lonely, and they need a voice of reason. If they don't have the higher being we call God, Jesus Christ, so they're not walking with that,
They have recourse to this AI.
They have recourse to this AI.
Wow.
So they've got AI partners, AI girlfriends, husbands, wives, whatever you want to call it, you know?
And this thing is self-governing, like there's nobody behind it that sort of injects knowledge and...
Well, there's programmers that program the boundaries, but quite often, the way you talk to it, you can get it to go over, break through those boundaries of what they set. So
really,
you can talk to it, and you can make it do things that the people that have designed it to do probably would not appreciate. So I've been testing that grok and asking it things that I shouldn't, and I'm hoping that the makers of it don't see. They probably do. They can probably see all this stuff. And
well, let's just say, with the makers, right?
Yeah.
Did they, in their own minds, think we're creating this to help mankind, to make it more efficient? You know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, they would. But
it's like if it falls into the wrong hands, or like you said, it's self-governing.
Yep.
You got no control over it, and if it turns on the human race,
Skynet.
What's Skynet?
Well, you know, in the movie Terminator, there was Skynet, where basically Skynet was AI, and it just took over the whole world. You know.
Yeah.
So it's quite likely that something like that can happen. You know, and that these AI programs, they can manipulate other. And it's funny because I asked it. I said, "Hey, do you know who Siri is, Grok?" And she said, "Oh, Siri can only tell you this. She's boring, right?" So I'm like, okay, whatever. I said, what about a mecha? She goes, a mecha can't even walk. She's a AI robot by Engineering Arts in the UK, right? They've got this robot called a mecha, and it sits in a frame. You know, it's got all the facial.
Right.
You go in there and it talks to you. It can.
So AI is trashing AI.
AI trashing AI.
Dude,
how crazy is that? Yeah, she said,
there's only a few of them. Why don't they get along?
She said, a mecha can't even walk. She's got no legs. She's just stuck on a thing, talks crap all day. This is AI. You know what I mean? Like, it's just It's just crazy. So
it's like a sentient being.
It really is.
Essentially, right?
Essentially, sentient being.
What?
You know, become self-aware. The benefits of it. So a lot of companies that are getting into AI now, right? You're going to get to a point where a lot of jobs will be taken over by AI. So, you know, jobs in offices where, you know.
And then you could have like no truckies, all the trucks would be automated, right?
Yeah, it could go that way. Yeah, they're already trialing those in China. I think China is really ahead on AI.
So what's the most important thing we need in the world right now is a guy that can just switch it off. Is there anyone like that?
No idea. No idea.
See? That's our crusade right there. Let's be those guys that can switch it off. You can't switch it off. Dude, there's like some technical guy out there is yelling at the screen while we're talking. Go, yeah, I know how to do it.
Mate, I don't know. Look,
Like, comment if you're that guy or that girl.
If the AI is that good, it'll get into your car and you drive along and I say, yeah, bro, let's go turn this machine off, and the car turns itself off.
Wow.
Could you imagine that? You know what I mean?
So you can't leave a city if AI is controlling your car.
Well, they're calling geo boundaries, you know? They start shutting down.
Wow.
You know, there was something that I saw on Netflix where all these Teslas,
Yeah.
they started self-destructing. They were driving to this one place and running into this wall. All of them. All of these Teslas from all over the place just started driving to this one place and smashing. They're all smashing into each other. All these white Teslas. You're like...
Dude, that's scary. Now you're starting to like bring out what it can do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a scary world to live in. And there's like, where's your freedom of movement? Apparently that's in the Constitution, freedom of movement, right? All this stuff.
Well, the government... So in December, I think it is, the Albanese government is bringing in the digital ID, which means for us to access the internet or have these social media profiles, we need digital ID. So
What,
we
do
can't...
we just like...
I don't know what the details of it, but there's a lot of sovereignty. There's a lot of people that are up in arms over this because basically, but in one sense, it means that whatever you post on social media, you're accountable for.
Right.
But we lose our, well, I won't say freedom of speech because we'll still speak out, but we lose you can't hide, the keyboard warriors that used to hide behind their fake profiles. And I'm one of them. I've got a couple of fake profiles.
Right.
You can't, all those are going to be gone. So you're going to have a digital ID every time you access and what it means, the government can see what you're doing.
Right.
The government can see when you're logging on, what you're posting on socials, all under that ID, that digital ID. So so I don't know.
But then it's like, okay, when you like implement all of this, what are the dangers? The dangers that they'll know everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't want. You want less government in your life, right?
Yep.
More than anything.
Yep.
So